Everything changed after your confession. You were no longer ducking into side elevators, no longer eating lunch separately, no longer walking 6 steps apart in hallway to avoid suspicion. You were together, openly, confidently, and fiercely, and strangely, no one dared to say anything because people didn't just respect you, they feared what you could do together. But of course, not everyone knew how to stay in their place. The sunlight poured through the floor to ceiling windows of Jungkook's office, casting golden streaks across the matte black desk and the leather chair you were currently lounging in, his chair. Your heels were kicked off, legs tucked under you as you reviewed documents on your tablet, the soft click of the stylus tapping rhythmically. Jungkook stood by the coffee machine in the corner, watching you. No, admiring you. You looked too comfortable in his space, like you belonged there because you did. Do you always make yourself at home in your boss's chair? He asked, walking over with 2 mugs of coffee, one just the way you liked. Oat milk, no sugar, a dash of cinnamon. You glanced up, eyes teasing, only when I'm secretly dating him. He set the mugs down, leaned against the edge of the desk, and crossed his arms, staring at you with that boyish smirk that only ever appeared when you were alone. No, you are not secretly dating him anymore. He leaned in slightly. You are openly ruining his concentration every time you are in the room. You laughed, placing the stylus down. Oh, is that what I'm doing? Ruining? He moved closer now, one hand resting behind you on the chair's headrest, his face just inches from yours. You have no idea how hard it is to give a damn about corporate policy when you are sitting there barefoot in my chair, looking like a dream I'm still trying to convince myself is real. You felt your breath catch just a little, then you smirked. So, what's the policy on kissing your MD in broad daylight? He didn't even hesitate, strongly encouraged. And before you could come up with a witty comeback, he leaned down and pressed the gentlest kiss to the corner of your lips. Not rushed, not hungry, just soft like he was savoring the moment. When he pulled back, his thumb traced your lower lip. You smiled. He whispered and you blinked. What? You smiled just now. He said, his voice was warm, eyes melting into yours. That's my favorite part of the day, every time. Your heart clenched, not from surprise, but from how deeply and consistently this man loved you without ever needing to say the words out loud. But today you said them for him. You know that, right? You whispered that you are my favorite part of the day too. He straightened up, visibly trying to mask how that sentence just wrecked him from the inside out. I was trying to act cool, he muttered, running a hand through his hair. Now I'm blushing. God, what are you doing to me? You giggled, slipping your feet back into your heels and standing, making your day difficult. You teased, patting his chest before gathering your tablet. Where are you going? He asked, already following you to the door like golden retriever. Lunch with the global comms team. He frowned. Boring. Stay here. Let's ditch work and get gelato. You turn in the doorway grinning. We can't. We are adults. He sighed dramatically. Fine, but only because you look hot when you are in CEO mode. Before you left, you leaned in close to his ear and whispered, I'll be back in an hour. If you miss me, stare at your security cam footage. He choked on his own breath as you walked away smug. He did, in fact, pull the security feed 10 minutes later just to watch your heels clicking confidently down the hallway, and he smiled because that was still his favorite sound in the world, right after your laugh. You adjusted your blazer sleeve as you stepped out of Jungkook's office, your lips still tingling from his kiss, your heart still warm from the way he said you were his favorite part of the day, and just a few feet away, like a stain the cleaning crew missed, stood Mina. Fake busy with her phone, pretending she wasn't staring. You met her eyes, she straightened. You didn't stop walking, but you did slow down just enough to let your words linger in the air like expensive perfume. You are late. Her brows pinched together. You tilted your head all sweet and mock innocent. You should really take your job seriously, Miss Secretary. Not everyone has the privilege of being the CEO's favorite. Your smile was so calm, so smug, it almost hurt. Mina's mouth opened slightly, as if she had something to say, but you weren't interested. You kept walking, tossing one last glance over your shoulder. And if you're still confused about what professionalism looks like, feel free to watch closely. I give a masterclass daily. And with that, you turn the corner, heels loud, back straight, and untouchably you. Mina wasn't happy with whatever was happening. You and Jungkook were now openly dating, and no one had a problem. In fact, they were happy for both of you and called you CEO's childhood sweetheart. So she changed. It started subtly. Mina began showing up late to work. Her replies to your emails were curt, clipped, and deliberately passive aggressive. Once, during a joint briefing with the PR team, she rolled her eyes mid meeting as you gave suggestions. It was subtle, barely visible to most, but Jungkook noticed. He always noticed. He didn't say anything then. He simply placed his hand on yours under the table. Silent reassurance, but it kept going. The final straw came on a Friday afternoon. You were in the executive lounge prepping documents for a press release when you overheard her from just outside the glass wall, loud enough to be heard by 3 junior interns. She's only where she is because she's dating the CEO. Let's be honest. What actual qualifications does she even have? Pretty face, that's about it. You froze. Your pen slipped, but before you could stand, someone else did. Jungkook. He had entered the lounge seconds earlier and now stood by the door, having heard every venomous word. The silence that followed was terrifying. Mina turned, her face drained of color the moment her eyes met his. He stepped closer, voice low, controlled, and deadly. You have got 10 minutes to pack your desk. Mina blinked. What, sir? Don't make me repeat myself. He growled, cutting her in. I didn't mean. You did. He cut in sharply. And that's the problem. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't need to. The temperature in the room dropped like ice. You stood up slowly behind him, but he turned slightly, eyes never leaving Mina. You have been disrespectful, unprofessional, and petty for weeks. But attacking her work ethic, questioning her qualifications in front of interns, he exhaled through his nose. You crossed the line, and in this company, when you cross that line, you don't get second chances. Mina's mouth opened and closed, stunned. Sir, you can't fire me. I didn't do anything. Are you doing it over her? Jungkook's jaw ticked. No, I'm firing you because I trusted you with this position and you used it to belittle someone who worked 10 times harder than you ever have. She's not just my partner. She's the reason half this company is still standing. He stepped forward, one last blow. You don't belong in this building anymore. And your reference, I'll personally make sure it reflects exactly who you are. He turned without another word and held his hand out to you. You took it. The entire room watched as you both walked out, hand in hand, leaving the echoes of your heels and your silence behind. Later that evening, you sat curled on his couch, still shaken even though you hadn't said a word during the scene. I didn't expect you to do that, you said quietly. Jungkook was sitting beside you, arm draped along the top of the couch. Gaze fixed on you, not the skyline, not the television, you. He reached out and brushed his thumb gently against your cheek. You think I would just let that slide? You swallowed. She's not the first person to talk like that, Jungkook, but she'll be the last to do it in this building. He said sharply. His tone was low, calm, but laced with fire. I would burn this whole place to the ground if it meant keeping your name clean. Your eyes softened at that. I know, you whispered, but you didn't have to ruin her career. He leaned in, pressing a kiss to your temple, lingering there like he could plant protection into your skin. She ruined it herself, he said, lips brushing your hairline, the moment she thought she could talk down to you, the moment she forgot who the hell you are. You sighed into his shoulder. This will make headlines, you murmured. He chuckled, voice rich with unapologetic pride. Let it. They'll say I fired her for love, and I'll say, damn right, I did. That made you look at him, finally really look. His jaw was sharp in the dim light, his dark eyes clear and certain. You don't get it, do you? He added softly, I can't tolerate anyone who disrespects you. Ever. You're not just my MD, you're my woman. And that means something. You smiled faintly, eyes flicking down to your lap before softly muttering, still, now you'll have to start over. Find a new secretary, someone competent, loyal, professional. Jungkook raised an eyebrow, amused. Already handled. You looked up again. What? I called Mr. Kim. Your eyes widened. Your ex-secretary, the older guy with the glasses? He smirked. Yep, said he's still fit for the job. And he misses telling me I scheduled too many meetings and not enough vacations. You laughed despite yourself. You were really replacing a venomous 26-year-old with a retired 60-year-old grandpa? He leaned closer, his nose brushing yours. He's a professional, and more importantly, he doesn't glare at the love of my life in the hallway like he's the main character in some petty office drama. Your heart skipped and you paused. Love of your life. You echoed. He tilted his head. Was I not supposed to say that yet? You shook your head slowly. No, you were. He smiled at you, but this one wasn't flirty or smug. It was soft, honest, almost vulnerable. Then he tucked the blanket higher over your legs, shifting so he could rest your feet in his lap. I didn't build all of this just to watch someone try to diminish you. I don't care how talented someone is. If they can't respect you, they are not welcome anywhere near me. You looked at him, heart full. You had known Jungkook for years. His coldness, his charm, his brutal loyalty, but this side? The man who didn't blink before choosing you over corporate politics. That was the side you fell for all over again. I didn't tell you. You said softly what she said that day in the lounge. He stiffened slightly. You don't have to. She called me. You paused, lips parting. Said I looked like a sugar baby who slept her way into this role. His hands clenched slightly at his sides, his jaw locked. You reached over and placed your hand over his. I didn't tell you because I didn't want to hurt you more than it hurt me. His voice came out tight, low and angry. She said that to you, and you didn't tell me. You nodded once because I handled it. He inhaled slowly, then exhaled through his nose, trying to calm the storm rising in his chest. I should have done worse than fire her, he growled. She's lucky I didn't shred her reputation out loud in front of the whole board. You didn't need to, you said gently. The fact that you stood up for me without even knowing, that was enough. He looked at you and you saw the fire fade into something softer, something wounded by the idea of you being hurt. You are everything I've ever wanted, he whispered. I don't care how high I climb, how many floors my name's on, if you're not standing next to me. It's meaningless. You leaned forward, kissed him softly and whispered against his lips, then you better get used to me always being there. His arms pulled you into his lap in one swift motion, holding you like you were the only safe thing left in the world. And for a long while, neither of you spoke, just the soft hum of city lights outside and the unspoken promise that you would never stand alone again. The air in the executive suite was oddly light. For the first time in a while, there was laughter in the hallways, smiles exchanged between departments, and zero tension near the CEO's office. It was as if everyone sensed it, peace had returned. Then, just as the elevator doors opened with a signature ding, Mr. Kim stepped out. Same wire rimmed glasses, same beige cardigan over his shirt, same expression of eternal disapproval. He walked through the corridor like he owned it, holding a large stainless steel flask. Where is he? He grunted to Jungkook's assistant, who just pointed wordlessly. When he reached the CEO's door, he didn't knock. He never knocked. The door swung open. You were inside, leaning against Jungkook's desk as he stood close, holding your waist while you went over strategy notes. You both looked up and froze. Mr. Kim? You asked, blinking. He nodded once. CEO said you needed a real secretary, so I'm back. You glanced at Jungkook, who smiled. He also said, Mr. Kim added, raising an eyebrow, that the previous one malfunctioned like she was a printer or something. You stifled a laugh. Jungkook stepped forward, reaching for the flask in Mr. Kim's hand. Coffee? No, my coffee. Mr. Kim snapped, pulling it away. You still drink yours like motor oil. He squinted at Jungkook. And you, young man, better keep your hands off the MD during business hours. You raised an eyebrow at Jungkook. He shrugged. I said he was professional. Too professional, Mr. Kim muttered as he turned on his heel and walked out. Now stop flirting and send me your calendar, John. I don't have all day to babysit two executives in love. Office gossip was at an all-time high. Not the nasty kind, not the bitter whisper anymore. This time it was all warmth and wonder. I heard he's planning something. Your assistant whispered, leaning over her lunch tray. Yeah, someone from HR nodded. My friend from facilities said he asked for the rooftop to be cleared Friday evening. You weren't supposed to hear it. But you did, and the way your heart thudded, well, you hoped that they were right. You stepped out into the warm twilight. The rooftop had been transformed, lanterns, lights floated from the beams above, fairy lights twisted through the railings, and soft classical music played from hidden speakers. And there he was, in a charcoal suit, no tie, just him standing there with that soft look on his face that he reserved for one person only. You. He stepped forward, holding out his hand. You placed yours in his, and he pulled you into the middle of the space. No speeches? You teased, eyes glimmering. He smirked. Just one. He pulled out a small velvet box from his jacket, opened it slowly, and there it was, a delicate diamond ring, minimalist and stunning, timeless, just like the two of you. I have loved you since you used to beat me at every childhood game and act like you didn't. Since you walked into this company and made half the men in this building cry in meetings. Since you fought for your place and still looked back to pull me with you. He got down on one knee. I have loved you in silence, in secret, and now loudly and proudly. And I want to keep loving you through every boring boardroom, every late night strategy call, and every quiet moment on our couch. So, his voice shook just slightly. Will you marry me? Breath caught and tears threatened your perfectly done makeup, but you didn't care. You nodded. Yes, always yes. The moment he slid the ring on your finger, fireworks burst in the sky. Not the kind he paid for, but the kind the city just happened to shoot that night. Fate, it seemed, was celebrating too. 6 months later. The company's new tagline launched with its global rebranding, built on vision, led by love. And the photo below it, a candid shot of you and Jungkook at your wedding reception, champagne in hand, laughing like you had the whole world in front of you because you did.